And welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Joe Pinion along with Heather Childers. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is saying Congress will form an independent 9/11 style commission to look into the riots on Capitol Hill. However, she's now facing growing questions about what she knew about the security vulnerabilities before January 6th and when did she know about it. Joining us now to weigh in, the host of Stinchfield on Newsmax, Grant himself, and also the editor-in-chief of the National Memo, Joe Conason. Thank you guys for joining us. Grant, I want to start with you because, sometimes as the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because Democrats seem to think that the only people who have questions to answer have an R next to their name on their voter registration form.
Yeah, this is going to be a big topic of our show tonight, Joe. We're going to have Devin Nunes, one of the congressmen who wrote this letter to Nancy Pelosi, basically saying, what did you know? Why did the request for the National Guard on January 4th get turned down? During the security breach of the Capitol, apparently the National Guard was requested somewhere along the way. The sergeant at arms there denied that request. Ultimately, an hour or two later, they called back in the National Guard. Undoubtedly, as the letter goes on to say, this had to go through Nancy Pelosi's office. So she wants a 9/11 style commission. Well, she ought to get one, and she might find herself being called as a witness.
Yeah, Joe, that's actually what I was going to ask. 5 weeks have passed now. There was this conversation about potential witnesses. The Democratic impeachment managers wanted to call one, and then they went back and said, we'll just introduce it as evidence. Why do you think they caved so quickly? Were they concerned about calling perhaps Nancy Pelosi, also the mayor of Washington, D.C., forward as witnesses and having them testify as to what they knew and when?
No. I think they felt they had plenty of evidence, and they were right. They got 57 votes to convict, and 22 other senators who have admitted that Trump was at fault here. Listen, this is the only funny thing I've heard about this incident. The idea that Nancy Pelosi, who was a target, by the way, of Trump supporters who wanted to murder her, that she is somehow at fault here. I mean,
I'll give you a break,
Joe. That's just ridiculous.
Joe, I can't let you get away with saying that they want to go in there and murder people.
She
Come
is the
on,
one
Joe.
who is, excuse me, Grant, I didn't interrupt you. She is the one who is asking for a commission here. I don't think she fears anything from that commission, nor should she. The people who have things to answer for here are the ones who organized that riot, put it together, stood behind the scenes and helped it to happen, and that is all going to come out. And there's not a shred of evidence that Nancy Pelosi did anything wrong here.
Well, Grant, I'll come to you because, I think this is part of the problem that we face right now, this kind of what's good for the goose not being good for the Donald Trump has literally was the one that saved the date card with the BYOB, not bring your own beer, but bring your own bat. That is clearly not what happened, and yet they actually want to go inside the mind of Trump and say that they can figure out what's going on here. So how do we just get back to fact-based findings right now to say you want to have a commission? The commission should ask all of the pertinent questions to all of the parties involved, including Nancy Pelosi.
Well, unfortunately, I'd have to throw that back to Joe because all I deal with in facts, when he said he didn't interrupt me before, what was I doing? I was quoting facts from a letter, giving them attribution from a letter from congressmen and women. What does Joe do? He comes and says that people want to go into the Capitol and murder people. This is a fake news narrative. I'm sick and tired of it being pushed by the devious media and people like Joe Conason.
Listen,
it was horrible what happened at the Capitol. Absolutely horrible. But you push this idea about murder. And what happened? The New York Times took the story back about Trump supporters beating a cop over the head with a fire extinguisher. Well, how convenient they take that back after the trial is done. I am so angry at this nonsense that be's pushed on all of us over and over and over again. And Joe, you're part of the problem. Start talking about facts, not nonsense.
The facts are very clear that there were people who went into the Capitol with the express desire to murder Nancy Pelosi. It's on tape.
Give me a break. That is not true, Joe. You know it.
You know that's you know it's true.
Joe, also wait, Joe. But the original question, you still haven't answered. There was a request for additional National Guardsmen made made prior to January 6th, and it was turned down. Should Nancy Pelosi be held accountable for that, since she is in charge of National Guard troops?
Why would she be held accountable for that?
Well, specifically,
Where's
just
the evidence that she's responsible for assigning the National Guard to the
we're going to have to leave it there. Unfortunately,
on that day?
But Grant, Joe, thank you guys so much. We do have to go to break, unfortunately, and pay some bills. But you can watch Stinchfield every night at 8 p.m. He's going to talk about this, and we'll be right back with more of American Agenda after this.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.